everyone. Today we're going to do a standing mobility flow. So it will be mainly fascial movement, but we'll add a few other things to it. So we're going to start standing to do just a little assessment of where we are. So try to have even weight on both feet. You can have your knees soft if you like. And we're just going to roll down through the spine. And then rolling up. Let's do that one more time just so you can assess how your body feels. So noting any tightness in your back or your hips or your hamstrings, your neck, and then rolling down, rolling back up. So we're going to take a stance a little bit wider than the hips, knees soft, and we're going to do these figure eights of our pelvis. But actually what you're really thinking about is your SI joint. So that's the sacroiliac joint, which is where your pelvis and your sacrum meet. So back view, I'm kind of in here at these joints. And I'm imagining my figure eights of these joints being sort of along the floor that way. And then I'm going to reverse that figure eight. So I'm going to go back, forward, through the middle, back, forward, back, forward. The chances that you'll feel much here is pretty low. However, by just doing this little oscillation around your SI joint, we may be freeing up some of the fascial connections there. So this is a super gentle warm up. And then again, just after that, we'll do another roll down. See if you notice any changes already, maybe in your hamstring length, maybe in the feelings of your pelvis. We're going to do that again, but slightly bigger now. So I am moving the pelvis. I'm trying to keep the figure eight sort of parallel with the floor. So I'm not going up with my hips like that. It's very peaceful and calm. And then we're going to reverse that. That's it. And then we'll do another roll down, again, just to see. So for some people, that's going to feel quite different. They're going to feel some freedom at the back of their pelvis that maybe they didn't feel before. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do like an upper body stretch. So you're going to interlace your fingers. You're going to press out and away, trying to stretch in between the shoulder blades. And you're going to release and you're going to open your chest to the ceiling. So it's exhaling, rounding away, and then releasing, inhaling, rolling the shoulders open, and I'm really trying to move my upper back. And again, exhaling, pressing away, so I'm actually stretching my palmar fascia as well. Lifting up, and again, exhaling to press, and release, and one more in that direction, and then release. So then what we're going to do is sort of novel movement. You explore this yourself, so I'm using that same position, but I'm kind of seeking out a different sense of stretch. So I'm pressing there, and then I'm going to open there like a big yawn. And then maybe I want to try the other side, and you don't have to do these same directions. Maybe you're sensing in your body there's a way that would feel really good. Going up and open, and another one up with this kind of soft knee stance, we're going to go into some lateral stretches. So stretching sideways and coming up. If you can notice that I'm starting this without moving my pelvis. So I'm just moving my rib cage away from my pelvis as I go and up. And if it bothers your shoulder, you could come up through the middle and go. And now I'm going to continue that. So I'm using my upper body, but I'm going to allow my pelvis to shift. So now I'm getting the stretch all the way from fingertips to outside edge of the foot, lengthening up, shifting into it, and lengthening. I want to be very careful as I do this that I don't end up arching my back or losing the position of my pelvis. So I'm trying to keep the movements very narrow, front to back, like I'm moving through two panes of glass. Now, one of the things we can do is we can add some little bounces. So we're going to start adding a little bounce of the arm. So we're going to maybe feel, depending on where your restrictions are, you may feel a little loosening of adhesions right around your shoulder or down into the ribs. And then coming up, and we'll do the other side. So side bending, intentionally bouncing the arm, trying to see where it might be restricted. Maybe you have to pull the elbow back a little bit. Be careful not to be in your lower back. And then coming out of it. So then we can add a little bounce of the rib cage instead. So now maybe you're deepening the stretch in between your ribs, so into your intercostals, in between your ribs and your pelvis. Maybe even you're feeling it lengthen down into your hip. Easy breath with all of this. Lengthen. So we're going into a gentle stretch, and we're just doing small bounces there really to help move the tissue, get some fascial play with the ribs. And then release. Then last one, you go, you allow the pelvis to go. And now we're going to pulse into the pelvis gently. Be careful not to arch your back. So getting that lateral body stretch. And then going the other way. Stretch into that hip. Of course, one side's going to feel a little bit different than the other. And then let's recheck that. So up, just going into the full stretch. How much more range do you have? Do you feel anything else there that might need to be addressed? Maybe you need to foam roll a little bit later. And then let's do a roll down again. See now if you've introduced any extra freedom into your movement just by doing that. We're going to go into the hips now just a little bit more. This is a fun one, or a silly one. So knees are soft, and you're going to be swinging the hips now up and down. Remember when we did the figure eights, it was pretty flat. I'm intentionally raising and lowering one side of my pelvis. I'm kind of drawing a smiley face with my pelvis. I'm rocking from side to side into the edges of my fascia. Of course, I'm getting a little lubrication in my hip joint as well. This is like I said, it's kind of silly because it's like a little dance move. That's it. You want to be careful you're not arching your back on this one. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go into a split stance. I have one leg forward, one leg back. I want to try to have my pelvis in between my legs, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now that range of motion is going to be very different with that front hip than the back hip, because we're sort of putting a little bit of stretch on your hip flexors and the lateral hip. Your TFL is a hip flexor, so you might feel like you're getting caught on that. So again, swinging kind of at a pace that feels right for you. Being careful not to arch your back. And then you're gonna do split stance on the other side. Put your weight in the middle of your pelvis there, and then swinging from side to side there. And again, it's gonna be different one side to the other depending on what's going on in your body. So try to make that little up, down, up, down. That's it. I've got my abdominals gently engaged to support me because I know that if I let everything go, I'm gonna arch my back. All right. And then, yeah, wiggle that out. Maybe do a couple little hula hoop movements just to get the hips nice and freed up. Of course, I'm being careful still that I'm not arching my back and trying to keep that all about the hips. All right, so we're gonna do just a little bit of rotation. So your knees are gonna be soft. We're gonna allow the movement to flow through the feet and ankles as well. So I'm just rotating from side to side. You can let your arms go with you. Of course, you want to be careful if you know you've got a reason why you should be cautious with your knees, with your back or your hips. But otherwise, you can see I've got one arch lifting, one arch dropping. I'm allowing for some movement through my knees, through my hips, through my spine, through my shoulders, right, my neck. I'm letting everything go. I'm just lubricating all the joints. And I'm letting my tissues and my fascia get some movement. So just hydrating, allowing for a little repercussion and a little bounce. Of course, we have to keep our breath nice and easy to help us hydrate. Couple more here. All right. So we're gonna go into maybe an upper body specific movement. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to have my self back into a split stance. I'm gonna reach forward with my hand. I'm flexing, so I'm stretching out that palmar fascia. If you wanna give yourself an assisted stretch, you can. So reaching forward, and then I'm gonna pull back. Shifting my weight back and forth, reach, and then pull back. Reach and pull back. I don't know if you can see, but I'm rolling through my foot. So I'm flexing this foot, then I'm going into that push off. So I'm articulating through my feet. I'm gonna add rotation, reaching, and I'm gonna rotate back. Reaching for the stretch, rotate back. And reach. So this movement is happening through my pelvis as well. And reach. Pulling back with the elbow. And reach. And back. Couple more, reach. And back. And then one more, reach. And back. And let's change sides. So stretching forward with your palm, pushing through the toes, pulling back. Reach. So there's a little bit of a twist happening already. I'm trying to make sure that I'm in the ground and I'm moving through my foot, articulating, pushing off, pulling back, letting my body drop its weight into the floor. Just bang the wall back there. And then adding the rotation and back. Reach and back, reach and back, reach and back. 2 Again, taking your feet apart, soft knees. This is actually kind of like a little jazz move. Our hands are behind our back like this. And we're gonna flex the hand out as we shift our weight. And flex. Now, it may be when you do that with the wrist, you feel a pulling down into your arm. If you do, you don't have to do it as big. You could change the facing, but this would be more of like a neural stretch, neural tension. So it's just we're gliding the nerves through the tissue. That's it. If you want to get fancy, you could side bend your neck away as you do it. See if you can coordinate that. Side bend your neck away, which would be a little bit more tension on it. And again, if it's feeling like nervy, whoops, and tingly, then you might not want to go that intensely into it. And then we're just going to do the arm out, in, out, in, out. This is a little bit of neural flossing, getting a lot of movement. And so added bonus neural flossing there. Other side. So flexing out, I'm bringing my hand, you know, this is sort of this guy. So out, in, out, in, that's it, out, in, 2 more, and 1 more, and in, and then release all that. How are we doing? Hopefully really good. We're gonna do just a little focal foot exercise. So you're gonna go back to your split stance. And as we rock through the foot, just being a little bit more particular here, you wanna make sure that you're pushing to your big and second toe, transferring the weight over, rocking back and flexing that foot. We're gonna add the upper body, so we're just rotating a little bit. And back, just a little functional movement, lengthening up and back. If anything here, there's a softening in the chest, and it's all pretty subtle. Forward and back. You can think of lifting up from the base of your pelvis to give you support. So maybe engaging a little bit of pelvic floor. 2 more there. Just to get a little foot articulation in. And then other side. So pushing off big and second. And then flexing. And then, like I say, you can add that rotation. It can be pretty subtle. You want to keep your weight down into the ground, but you also want to be lifting up. And back and forward. And back, that's it, forward and back, a couple more forward and back, and 1 more forward and back, and shake it out. Let's do a little roll down again just to see. We're using that as our reassess. So rolling down, hopefully that's feeling good. Rolling back up. We're gonna pick up the speed just a little bit here, try to get a bit more blood flow. So we're gonna be swinging the arms forward and back. So you can have a little bounce of this and allowing for, you know, a little bit of torso movement here. And so we're gonna end up transferring the weight. So I'm gonna I'll start allowing myself to favor. I'm on my right side. I'm starting to favor my right until my leg picks up in the air. And I mean, it is just a little bit of a suspension. It doesn't have to look any particular way as you do it. Whee! A few more. One more. And then back to center. Joom, 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 joom. And then we're going to start favoring the left, or if you're mirroring me, your right, until I've got myself so far over that my leg starts picking up. A couple more here. There we go. Now, I've changed my arms, so I'm like a little monkey. So I'm a bit forward, right? And I'm already transferring my weight a little bit side to side. As you can see, one foot's picking up one the other. And then I'm gonna start favoring the lift on one side. I'm letting my eyes follow the movement. So there's a little kickback, so I'm getting this nice, like, you know, fascial flow kind of sense. Again, there's no aesthetic to this. And then come back to center. And then we'll start favoring the other side. Couple more here. Good, and then just kind of let that resolve however you need to. All right, guys, let's do just one more little roll down through our spine. Maybe do a bend and stretch at the bottom there. Let your hamstrings lengthen. And then rolling up all the way. There we go. So that was our standing fascial mobility. We got all body parts involved. You got to increase your heart rate maybe a little bit at the end. So hopefully you feel really good and maybe more mobile. And then if you're on a roll, maybe you just want to watch another video and do a little bit more mobility, or maybe you're ready to do something a little bit more vigorous. Hope to see you soon. Bye.